The job interview process alone can be intimidating for people that don't have a criminal record. But for those that have a criminal record, it can really be frustrating and intimidating because you may be, if you have a criminal record, worried about the charges that you have, worried about if the person that's interviewing you going to judge you, worrying about if your charges that you have may not qualify you for the position that you are applying for. So I want to share with you some tips on how to prepare for a job interview if you have a criminal record. First and foremost, you don't want to lie on your job application if you have been convicted of a felony, if you have a criminal record, because on what they call the box on the application, it will ask, have you been convicted of a felony? Sometimes it'll ask, have you been convicted of a felony, say in the last 7 years or so, because in some states, it only goes back 7 years. But in some states and some applications, it won't have a time frame on it. It'll just say, have you ever been convicted of a felony? So if you have been convicted of a felony and it doesn't give that specific time frame, you want to be honest, because you don't want the employer to find out. They may want to hire you for the job, and then once they hire you for the job, select you for the job, and then do that criminal background check and find out that you have a criminal record, and then that is going to lessen your chances of getting the job, because then they will see that you wasn't being honest with them. So you want to first and foremost be honest about your criminal record. Just because you have a criminal record, that does not mean that you cannot get the job that you are applying for. Now, with applying for a job with a criminal record, you want to be careful about the jobs that you apply for. You don't want the jobs that you apply for to be associated in any way with the charges that you have. And this doesn't apply to everyone. It just depends. But you want to try not to apply for those jobs that may affect you in any way because they're affiliated with the charge that you have. And they're associated with the job that you may be applying for. For example, you may have been convicted of a theft charge. You have charges for theft on your criminal record. So you don't want to apply for jobs that deal with money, say a banking job or, a cashier job. You want to kind of stay away from those jobs that may affect your chances because they are associated with those charges that you have. And also, when you're applying for a job, when you go into the interview, you want to be prepared to talk about those charges. You don't want to avoid it. If the employer asks you about those charges, if you have first and foremost was honest about the criminal charge, about the charges on your record, the employer may ask you, so tell me about those charges. So you want to go into the interview prepared with, say, a 30-second elevator speech. So you want to talk about those charges up front. You want to take some time to talk about the charges, but you also want to put yourself in a positive light. You want to say, okay, yeah, I made a mistake, but you want to own up to what it is that you did. You don't want to make excuses for what you did. You want to own up to what happened, but you also want to put yourself in a positive light. So I have a script here to give you an example of how an elevator speech will go when you go into the job interview if you have a criminal record. So it would go something like this. So the employer will say to you, so I noticed on your application you indicated that you have a criminal record. I was wondering if you can tell me a little more about that. And so the interviewee, the person that's interviewing, will say, sure. So in 2007, I was charged with theft and I served 1 year for it. It's something I really regret doing, and I've been working to take control of my life since then. I've recently been mentoring at-risk kids and attending a support group for ex-convicts. I also enrolled in a training program for carpentry and got my certificate for it. I've spent a lot of time trying to turn things around, and I'd like to continue moving forward in this direction with your company. So you'll want to find the right moment to deliver your elevator speech. The interviewer may ask you about your criminal record, but this isn't always the case. You might have to bring it up on your own if the opportunity doesn't present itself. This may seem awkward, but the interviewer will be happy that you are honest with them rather than finding out about your convictions from a background check. So again, you don't have to be intimidated by the interview process just because you have a criminal background. There are employers that will hire you with a criminal background. They just want you to be honest with them, be upfront with them, and show them that you are trying to do better. Show them that you are a hard worker. Show them that you are willing to do the job. Show them that you have the job skills. And when you're doing a resume, when you have a criminal background, on that resume, you want to list out your skills. You want to tailor those skills to the job you're applying for. So although you have this criminal background, you want the employee to focus on your skills. If you have the skills for that job, that's what you want the employee to focus on. That you have the skills and that you are qualified for the job. So just because you have a criminal record, that does not mean you're not qualified for the job. So don't be intimidated because the job interview process could be frustrating and intimidating for everybody. Even if you don't have a criminal record, you can feel some type of way going into that job interview. But just know that if you go in there with confidence, you go in there and show the employer that you have the skills for the job and that you are striving to do your absolute best and you have the skills, I can assure you that you will be given a chance for that job. And even if you don't, do not be discouraged. Keep on applying. Keep on going on those job interviews, because even if you get 5 no's, there is a yes down the line. You just have to keep going and do not give up. Do not think just because you got 5 no's that you're never going to get a yes. You're never going to get a job. Again, those that don't have a criminal record, the job process goes the same way. Sometimes it just takes a while to get that call back. It takes a while to get that interview. It takes a while to get that job. So do not be discouraged. Just keep going. Keep doing what you need to do. And eventually you are going to land the job that you have been trying to get. Okay? So my name is Cynthia Young with SOAR Solutions Career Coaching.